So very good afternoon everyone out there. Phil, thanks for joining me today, and this one goes out to my special friend Panos in Athens, Greece. Hi Panos, this is me, Kalispera. Hey, you asked me to do that.
It's funny that you didn't tell us about it, so it's a total surprise for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
I'm always
nice.
good for a surprise. So
That's nice. It's a good start.
what's
So,
going on today? We
today-
stopped last week,
Yes.
I think before joining the legs for our outdoor bench. So that's where we want to continue today. I think we stopped with just cutting the pieces to size, cutting the seat moldings, and now Phil, explain the audience a little bit what's going on next.
Exactly. So we stopped with all the cuts. We were basically done with the pre-assembly, but we still have to do a little pre-work before we can actually assemble the whole bench. So what we have to do is drill in the dowels, basically with a big domino. So we're going to talk about the big domino. Then we're going to glue the bench pieces together and continue on rounding off some edges with the OFK 500 and continue on sanding some stuff and actually attach the seat molding. And I think then we're probably going to be
Pretty much
done.
it, yeah. Maybe then it's roughly another hour later.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about using dominoes for exterior applications, so we used last time the standard beach dowels or dominoes. Yeah? And here you can see the option we have beside the standard length, which are pre-cut. We have also these strips of either beech or mahogany, so which is also pretty ideal for these exterior applications. So either you can choose a different glue for exterior applications, some of these famous waterproof glues, or you use a polyurethane glue, or you use the mahogany dowels, and then you have a long-lasting joining out there.
So basically, you have a couple of options, either talking about dowels or glue or whatever kind of different specific glue. But I think we're going to use the regular beech ones.
Yep.
And
Yeah, because
just
we
going
have
to use
to-
waterproof glue.
Pre-cut inside that accessory sustainer.
So the mahogany dowels only, or dominoes only exist in those long strips. The beech ones you can buy in some custom length. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So now I just did the check for our position. So we use our MFT stop just to line the parts up, otherwise the bench might be wobbling later on.
So it's really handy because we cannot stand it on the floor because nothing's attached yet. But still you have the option
So
to
we
check.
should have a distance of 90 mil either side for that cross stringer. It's going to be like that. And add half of the material thickness, so that means we just draw a line at 120 either side. Like that, I will check the 90 mil dimension. And this is now finally to prevent from making a similar mistake like Phil did last week, didn't
So if anybody speaks German, you can check out the German version of the video that I did with Sasha. And what I did, I just used the domino on a wrong line, and so everything was really crooked and just plainly horribly made. So we had to redo that part, and we'll work with another one in the German second video that we're going to film after that one. But that's not the point. So usually you can use the domino with some attachments on the side, so you don't have to make any markings on it. But since we have angled pieces here that are sitting in the middle of other pieces and not on the edge, we're just going to use lines, which is also really easy. It just has us to do some extra work before we start using it. But as you can see, that stuff is done in a matter of minutes.
Exactly. After that, maybe there's one thing left to do, because we should have the longitudinal stringer later on, which is that fellow. It's going to be the upright. So it also has to find a place. I would say we just place it right in the center.
Yeah, right in the middle. So that must be 14 centimeters.
No, I think that's 400. Yeah, so it's going to be spot on 200.
Dang it.
Yeah, quite
I
easy.
was just checking the plan, maybe I misread it.
140, 60. Oh no, it's a little bit off center. So it's 170 from the back side.
Oh, interesting. Well,
For whatever reason, don't know. But if you,
I don't know who made the plan.
I don't know either.
I would just guess it's Sasha.
So now that's going to be the position for the horizontal stringer, and then we need to bring it around the corner to line up our machine later on. Yes? Because that would mean you drill the domino hole right in here.
Yeah. And you were just using the really professional piece to make a right angle.
Laser eyes. Okay, so we could take this apart and put it aside.
So we now have all the markings. Now we got to set the domino to the right depth. And height is not really necessary to set them right in the middle. So we can basically just choose whatever setting we want. But I think it's just going to be 30 because the material is 60.
We have a preset of 30 because material thickness is 60, as I said. So that's quite the easiest way to handle this. As you can see, it's indicating in this little window right there. That's indicating half of your material thickness, and it's gonna be okay. So because we always use the same service to put the machine on.
And what kind of dominoes are we using in size and length?
We're gonna use the 12 by 100s. These bodies, yeah, anyway, solid enough. So we have two different settings. So either we have the dimension 12 and 14, getting started with the length of 100, 120 up to 140 either side, and there's a smaller, same sustainer but with the smaller dimensions, 8 and 10 millimeters in similar measurements. Other option have you seen earlier with the dominoes you cut yourself.
Yeah. So setting would be then up to 50 because, well, if you want to have a 100 mil length domino, you gotta drill them in twice for 50 millimeters.
To prevent from make any mistake, you can just lock this in place and then it's absolutely safe. But basically these are some presets once you have to set different routing depth on your materials.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
So you're just going to use 2 stops on the MFT, so your material is not going to wobble around, but you don't have to clamp it or anything.
No, actually I just put it on top like this with a table, and I have this. I'm not sure if you can see it. Just put a piece of wood in.
Good to see.
You can see that center line, which is quite neat to line up the machine spot on.
Yeah.
Just double check whether that works. Yeah, should be okay.
Yeah, so you don't make any mistakes, right?
And again. So that's how it's connected.
So what I want to show that it's really, really important to use a dust extractor while using with the using the domino, because it's gonna help you get precise results. So you have that really, really tiny amount of dust that's still in there, comparing to how much wood we actually drilled out of it. Well, so we're good with that one. Are we gonna do the second one?
I would say so, yeah.
Real quickly.
Yeah.
And
Do we have plenty of time for that? She says yes. Okay.
think we are.
You grab the material, I grab the stop.
So we're quickly assembling the pieces. Right there. There.
And again, is it 90, 120? That's where the nail comes in. That one sits at 900.
I'm just going to mark that one in the middle.
Go.
And what I think is a really nice thing, so we're just using basic cheap building material for that bench, so it's not really important or necessary to use really expensive woods like oak. You can actually make pretty decent simple builds just by using what you've got left over from whatever build you have or what you can find. And if you just put some time and effort into it, it's gonna look really nice, I think. So after we're done with it, we're gonna sand it, we're gonna round off the edges, and in the end it's gonna get oiled. And then I think we're gonna have a really, really nice bench. Same as in the picture in the back.
Now we have to be careful because this has to be on the opposite side. Because we have one left and one right.
Oh, that would look awkward.
Hmm. So you're going to drill the hole.
Yeah, it's always nice to make some marking that helps you identify where you actually have to put the dowels in. So there's either options to make like a triangle on the pieces, that's a traditional version, or you just can paint write numbers on it, or as Thommy just did, if you can flip it to the front camera please. He just made a mark where the domino is going to sit. Also helpful.
This is right. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah. So that's the position. So I definitely have to be careful. I just want to be sure to not make another mistake. Yeah, that works.
But now the domino is looking upwards. There you go. I think you had it right the first time.
Yeah, but I have to drill right here, and that one sits in here. Yeah, good. Yeah, works. All good.
Okay. Yep. So you're gonna make some more noise, ain't you?
I will.
I'm just gonna film it. So, we're done with that noise.
Should be done.
So, next step would be rounding off the edges. So, therefore, we're going to use the OFK 500. It's a pretty basic machine. It's really light and versatile. As you can see, it just looks like a tiny water bottle, size-wise. So, what Thommy has attached here is the dust extraction, which also prevents that tiny little metal piece that I don't know the English word for.
Ball bearing.
The ball bearing,
Yeah.
or the ball bearing. So it's not gonna spin with the actual drill piece.
Yeah,
So it
comes in
doesn't
with the ball bearing brake.
with a ball bearing brake.
Because they're looking at a fairly high speed of 28,000 revolutions a minute. So that's really quite a bit. And if you would not have any ball bearing brake, you would leave a mark along your material. That's why we actually slow it down. So it only rolls the way you feed the machine.
Mm-hmm.
So concerning the settings, That's quite simple. You have a preset that always stays the same. You can connect your dust extraction, and so it's really, as Phil mentioned, a lightweighted tool that you can operate with just one hand. Yeah. And just move it around the edges. Just as easy as that.
And so you set the depth slightly the same as the one that's already
Yeah.
on the material, so it will look
That's it.
nice
that
and
looks it.
flush.
The rest is done by the sanders later on. So now we continue with all the rest of the pieces to have a nice and smooth edge all around, so you're unable to hurt yourself later on with a wood chip. Okay. There we are.
So we got all the edges rounded off
And not,
smoothly.
actually, it's just a chamfer, but
A chamfer, not a rounder. True.
we made them simple.
So now gonna use some glue.
Yep.
I got some
Speed up.
clamps, and we're gonna glue them together, I think.
Yep.
Nice. The dowels, the dominoes are already there. I don't know if you have enough glue. Do you need some more?
There should be another bottle around.
Around? I'll check.
So, I'm going to use a hammer just to make sure that the dowels are nicely pressed in. So the last connection, that's what I would do with the front leg in one step together, because otherwise we might get difficulties in lining up the parts. Almost empty.
We just switch if you know where the glue is. I'll continue gluing those, and you'll check for
Alright,
more.
check this.
So we got the top piece, both dowels in. We can put that aside. So we're not going to put the dowels in that piece. We can put it in the leg though, but not the upper part, because that one's going to sit right there. Oh yeah, it's almost empty. Which was almost a lie. Can you hear him making noises? That's hilarious. Oh, there we go. So we have to glue that together pretty snugly, because if not, the bench is probably going to be useless.
So unfortunately I just found a normal glue.
Oh well.
We'll just add a little bit more.
I'm an idiot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that one out again,
Why?
because there's already one here. That's when you switch tasks
Yeah, that's
right
it,
in
yeah.
between.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Can I? Just double check. What's coming next? I need that particular part. Add some more glue so that one's always close to empty.
That one's almost empty too.
Is it?
Good, Sean. Hoppa.
Go for it.
Need some more? You're good.
I'm good.
we go.
This. And now we have the chance. Where's the hole on the counterpart? So it's on the inside, right here. So that means it should be on the inside here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So facing to the bottom. It's breathing. It's a nightmare if you have empty glue bottles.
There you go.
Yeah. And we also have to watch out because we are not centered, that we are attaching it from the right side. So the shorter side, which is this one, is 170 to the center, should point towards the rear support. So that means that particular hole has to come in like this. Some more glue, please. Oh, it explodes.
Ich hab's ins Gesicht.
Yes.
Jawohl.
God.
Ach, guck mal. Jetzt geht's richtig kaputt.
That's live.
I'm even switching
really-
to German because it's so absurd right now. That's almost hilarious. I'm gonna clean myself up.
Yeah, do this before the glue gets dry. So now finally, for 2 more holes, we should have sufficient amount of glue in here. That will do it. But no matter, it's a natural based glue, so that's
The good thing is,
not too serious. It's waterborne.
this was not the waterproof one, so I can hopefully easily can get rid of it.
You also put some glue in my hammer. Did you notice that?
Nope,
Nope. Okay.
I was distracted from my face,
just
with my
let me know.
face.
Well, it looks already rock solid already now. Oops. Could you bring the cheek lamps? Just to make
Already
sure that-
there.
Oh, already there. Okay. We're gonna use a small piece of wood as a support up front to press on either part, just like this.
You're good?
Yep, I am.
There we go.
Okay, now one right here. And maybe a second one on the bottom.
Now let's
Fold it
do
down
that one
around.
first.
Yeah.
Perfect. And the third one. So it's always
So-
nice to have a second pair of hands.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I'll bring it on.
So that will take half an hour until the glue is really hardened, and as we don't have this much time, we use one of our prepared legs to continue. There's glue everywhere. Phil, what have you done?
The bottom broke somehow.
Jeez.
That was the weird noise that I heard.
Yeah.
It made a popping noise. That must have been that one. So we're not gonna glue the second leg. Gonna do that after the video. So I'd say we continue sanding, or do you want to put that dowel in?
Sanding would be easier if you do it before, because we have a full
Yeah.
surface.
Okay.
Just to pass over, to at least sand the inner side of that leg. So we did already prepare our random orbital sander. So in this case we're going to use a 5mm sanding stroke, just to make sure that we remove a bit of material. That's a perfect compromise between surface quality and material removal. We also use the ETS EC sander, so with this pretty ideal and perfectly designed ergonomic design. Brushless motor, lightweight, long lasting, so everything you wish to have from a sanding machine. Attached is it with a, I think I put just a grid of 120 on it, and we will just prove the surface quality later on, how that appears. And it's the Rubin paper, which is especially designed for wood.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you could of course use at any time also the granite abrasive, which is not better, not worse. So it's really, that's the best choice probably for solid wood. But in terms of having a most versatile abrasive, you for sure would go for the granite. That's why I said with a 5mm sanding stroke, you've seen how the wood was looking like before. It was a little bit different in color, so that is removed in next to no time. Also our scribe lines are gone quite easy, and it feels already quite smooth.
Yeah, you're using 120 paper, so that one is not too rough,
No.
but still gives you a quick result.
Finish, yeah. I mean, as a preparation for oiling, it should be much finer. So we should go with a 150 and 180 grit, I would say, furthermore over this, but that saves us time. If you do rough sanding applications with a coarser abrasive, that helps with saving time. There we go.
Really, really quickly.
Gonna grab the second one, do as well the inner side. Because then we can connect the longitudinal stringer, glue it in, fix it with a long G-clamp, and finally we can attach the seat moldings. Switch it up. There was a drop of glue. Just sand away manually. That's what you could use a
It's a really cheap
random
manual
orbital.
sander.
That's the best one. Yeah? It's versatile.
Yeah.
And manual and finally machine tool. So now I think we could attach the
Yeah.
stringer. I think we have enough glue for 2 more dowels?
I'm not gonna touch that bottle again.
Yeah, let me do this. And there. There we go.
I'm gonna put the camera aside because we're gonna need some room.
I think we
And
should sand this one also, huh? Shouldn't we? Doesn't look so nice.
yeah.
Well, maybe you have noticed that there's really next to no dust on our table because this is thanks to our multi-jet stream dust extraction we have on the 150mm random orbital sanders. That's really cool. I'm impressed myself.
We missed one dowel hole.
Did we?
Yep.
Oh, what a pity.
Gonna do that very quickly.
Yep. Oars on the way. So you got another chance to do it right.
To redeem myself.
And I hold this for you.
Thank you.
So the vibrations you might have noticed while sanding are caused by the material on the table because it is not fixed with a cheek lamp or anything else, so that's why the wood is not straight and that creates some strange
Wobbling.
noise.
Yeah. There we go. Glue is in there, dowels are in there.
Okay.
We're good to go.
There we go.
There you go.
That's
Put
a
it-
massive bench, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say, is the table big enough? Probably not.
No, we're gonna put it on the floor.
Okay.
Grab our cheek lamp. I think now we are gonna move while you fix that
Yep.
table aside so we can continue. Sorry.
Yep.
It's good.
Now we can attach seat molding.
I think we got
And it's
it.
actually going to look like a bench.
Yeah, finally.
So we got some things prepared.
Yeah.
We got that one, and we got two 14mm dominoes. They are going to be our spaces. So we need 14mm in space between every
Yeah.
piece of wood,
So
and
means
that's why we got
we're gonna
those.
start either up front for the horizontal moldings, and we're gonna start on the very top for the vertical ones.
Yeah.
Okay, and then each time between each molding we put 40 millimeters in between. That's the easiest way, just to set a certain distance, to make a distance part, and prevents from making mistakes with a ruler or with a blunt pencil or whatever. So that's always the best solution. To keep it in center, we have our distance part from the outside, and what you might have seen is we have already pre-drilled these holes. Phil will basically show us the eccentric countersink drill, which is quite neat for applications like this.
So what it is, we have in our regular drill the countersink drill bit. If I pull it back slightly, you can see there's the sinker, there's the drill bit. You can adjust the depth, and that black piece is going to prevent the countersinker to sink too deeply, basically.
There's one thing I want to point out as well. Of course, we have that depth control, that stop, which rotates as well. And you need to be aware, depending on your material, whether it's a soft material like this, that you might get an impact or a mark that might be visible. We're lucky right now, but in some spots you could see a little dent.
Because it's hard material.
Yeah, it's a, yeah, let's say wear resistant glass fiber reinforced plastic. So that really is hard, and to prevent from getting any mark, the easiest way is if you just put your finger on it and then you just drill it, and it's not rotating that way. It's absolutely safe then to prevent from having these marks around, and all the countersinks are finally in the same depth, so it helps you saving a lot of time. Instead of comparing to normal drilling, using a countersink, and out of 10 holes you might have 8 different depths. So that's why we have this quickly interchangeable eccentric drill bit available in different dimensions. So it's getting from 3.5, 4.5 and 5 millimeters dimension for the most common screws. All you need to do is just to line up on your marking, drill these holes.
So we're just gonna drill 2 pieces, because the 16 other pieces are already pre-drilled. That would take too long for the video, and then we can start attaching them.
Yeah. Now that's especially important to do some pre-drilling like we did now, in terms of you're not having any spruce or pine. If you have some oak or maple or whatever, really hard woods, then you're unable to drive the screws in without cracking or breaking the screws. So that's really a must to pre-drill these holes. And in the next step, we're gonna use some stainless steel in the most ideal case for exterior application, or at least galvanized screws, because they might last a little longer.
And we're going to start, as we said, in the front.
Yep.
So the first one doesn't need the dominoes. Just when we start with the second piece, we're going to use that spacer. It's exactly 60 millimeters. And that's going to help us place.
So if you line this up, it should be exactly the same distance on the opposite side. If I would measure it, and it comes up at 61. So it's within the tolerances, I would say. So finally we will line it up front. And to make sure that we are not drilling, also we have, although we had pre-drilled the holes, it's important to have a kind of a depth control to make really this result perfect, and therefore we could use these both attachments. One is looking like a chuck. underneath this you have a massive ball bearing again, so a rubber coated stop. That means it protects your surface, and as soon as it touches the surface of the material, it stops rotation. And what we have built in is a clutch, so that really stops the rotation and ensures, depending on this setting, we can preset right here with a trial that all the screws are driven in the same depth. And that works on any cordless. I have the C18 right here. You could use a C15, C12, whatever you have. Anything that has this connection, even a CXS or TXS would be ready to be used with this one.
Nice.
The other depth control, that's really ideal. It's more designed for, let's say, some for drywallers. Works basically the same. It's a clutch that you can set right here. Underneath, in both attachments, you have your normal 1/4 inch hex bits. So depending on the screw, whatever drives the screw, whether it's Torx or Posit Drive or Phillips, doesn't matter. You just change the bit and that's it.
Okay.
And that one actually, you can see, it's not rotating, though I can still hold the screw up front. It only rotates once I press it in.
Now, as soon as you apply pressure, it's gonna start moving.
And you got a perfect screw depth. So with a sample, you would finally get that perfect result.
Nice.
Yeah. If you use the other one, works quite similar. We put our domino in between.
Wait a second. Yep.
Ready? And got the same result. You're setting it. Oops, put that one flat. So I got a better access to that spot. There we go.
And so on and so forth.
Yeah. Now, as we have a second screwdriver fill, I would say you could
Yep.
drive the bolt on your side, so that helps us saving time.
Thank you.
The final screw depth might depend a little bit as well from of the pressure the user applies. So it might be the setting.
Yep, good to go.
The setting is okay for me, so Phil has to possibly readjust it.
No, perfectly fine.
Good.
Yep. Yep. So it's basically anybody can do that.
It's so
Hard
easy,
to make a mistake. That's good.
That's the setting. Yeah, just to keep the strip moldings right in center. Are you able to drive the screw? Oh, yes, you are. Nice.
I didn't have the front piece off. Okay. Now we can continue. Do we still have enough screws?
Yep.
So the last one's gonna be tight because we have 5 minutes left.
Yep.
So we gotta be quick and efficient.
Speed up.
I'll try.
First proof.
That was stressful. And what do you say?
So the next step would be then finishing of the surface.
Sanding
Now
it.
we just
oiling
put it
it.
together all together to double check whether everything fits as it should. I think it's not too bad
No,
for two guys
that's a
like
nice
us.
angle.
Not too bad. Quite solid. So there's enough space for a third person
Yeah.
or for a couple of beers. However, to finish the entire bench, of course, it makes sense just to take it apart again.
Yep.
To oil everything all around, just to make sure that the oil is penetrating from either side of the material.
Yeah, because you want everything oiled. So right there would be a spot where you would not get any oil, and that would rot away quickly.
That's it. Because that's something we need to prepare as well, but we will finally show you next week in the next session how you do this oiling procedure. We have then already pre-oiled service because that requires, I would say, at least a day, a full day, because you should let dry out the oil overnight, which is in the most ideal case. And so we have to prepare it, and we finally show you how the second layer of oil works on that, or is to be applied on that service. And
we're going to have a secret guest, I think. Are we?
Not quite sure.
For the English version too? Yes. Seems like it.
Do we have? Yeah? Okay. So
Yeah.
I think that's it pretty much for today. Thanks very much for watching us.
Yeah.
Stay safe and healthy. Looking forward to have you in next week.
For the last video. Bye.